officially the weekend.
It is.
It's officially the weekend. I need you to move over a little bit.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just.
That's embarrassing.
No, she always want to like take all the camera.
What?
She
you
want to take all the
that
camera.
Is not me. You've been on one today.
A lot going on, a lot of moving parts, but we are so built. Happy Friday, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
It's Franchise Jay Claxton and Dr. Cassandra Vaughn. It's the Love and Business on Lock podcast.
I'm so excited about today's show.
Friday, the weekend edition.
I am so excited about today's show.
Yeah,
I'm so excited about today's show.
It's funny because regardless of what happens, the show puts me in a certain mood, certain mindset. Like work makes me happy. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like work makes me happy. So I don't, it's just go time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just go time. So hopefully you had a wonderful weekend.
A week, you mean? Not weekend, babe.
Hope you're right. Hopefully you had a wonderful week and we're ready for the weekend. I told you.
I swear we've had a whole weekend all week long.
A lot going on all over the place. But we are here to bring you the food. And hopefully you are able to take this food and digest it and digest what we have going on today.
Listen, tonight.
I do like that sweatsuit though. I mean, that's tough.
It's a skirt.
I mean, but the shirt.
The top. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I couldn't see the bottom. You were sitting down.
I appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
Thank you. Okay. It's been an odd day. Listen, so several things. Tonight is a very special night. Okay. I cannot talk about what's going to happen special in the middle of the show, but something that we both know about is going to happen. It's really exciting for me, exciting time in our life. And let's just talk about that. Do you know what today is? It's been a year since we've been doing a podcast.
So it's the anniversary of the podcast. And, no, but that's a song.
I was getting ready to dance for you. You didn't want to dance?
That's the wrong dance to the wrong song.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, so tonight we have two very special people. If anybody who's read any articles about us, they talk about we're the couplepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. So these two amazing individuals are marriedpreneurs. Okay. And I'm telling you, so I started trolling their page. Okay. about maybe about 60 days ago. Okay. I don't even know how. It just popped up one day and I just started trolling it. And everything about them resembled us. Okay. Except for they're married. Okay. So I learned a lot by watching things that they said. And what the other thing that I like about them is that they're Christians. Okay. So a lot of their teachings are Bible based.
So I gotta apologize
in advance.
Yeah, no, I gotta apologize because I cursed before we went.
You curse all the time. However, we're not gonna go into that. So let's bring in real quick OL and Sway.
What's going on, y'all? I got to apologize.
Good evening.
What's up?
I have to apologize.
What's happening?
I feel like I'm a heathen. I'm sorry.
You are a heathen, but
I'm really not. I'm really not.
I've been saying.
I am an upstanding individual. I stand 10 toes down.
And you're a cursor.
That's you. Because you curse more than me.
That's not true at all. That is not true.
Who looks like the cursor?
You're not gonna do that to them.
No, I am.
That's not what you're doing.
Who looks like the cursor?
That's not what we're gonna do tonight. But let me just tell you, no matter how much you smile,
who looks like the aggressor?
The aggressor. Oh my God.
Who looks like the aggressor around here?
I feel colorism happening.
But how y'all doing? I'm sorry.
Let me just say this now. So this is definitely going to be a 2-part show, right?
Okay.
I know it is. I have so much to unpack.
Okay.
All
right. And you know what? we usually we've only had maybe 1 or 2-part shows because those particular guests were giving so much food. so much food for us to digest. And the beautiful thing about the podcast is we get food as well as the people who go back and listen or on. That love what we is a platform.
I think there's a.
Can you all hear us?
Can y'all hear us? I think you're frozen.
Well, you are frozen. They may still be able to hear us. That was so
Not talking about the Disney movie, but I think one of us is.
Oh. Okay. Hi, guys.
All right. What's happening?
All right. We're gonna do this quick commercial break. How's everybody doing this Friday?
Doing excellent. We'll be right back with your
these
celebrity
messages.
DJ Jay Claxton and Dr. Casay. So, yeah,
We're gonna hold it down for them.
absolutely. We're gonna stand in and stand up.
Stand in and stand up.
Yep.
And do what we do.
And do what we do. So
In
it's
that same
Friday.
spirit.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
We're gonna keep the tempo going. So it's Friday. About to segue into the weekend.
Segue into the weekend.
Segue into the weekend.
Mhm.
And I have high hopes and great anticipation for this weekend.
Just order dinner.
Just order dinner. High hopes to relax.
Who's cooking tonight is not. It's not I.
Say no one.
No one.
Nobody's
Touch your
cooking
neighbor, say
tonight.
nobody.
Not a dish.
Nobody. Touch your neighbor, say nobody.
Not a
You didn't
dish.
touch me.
No. Not a dish.
Yeah, say nobody,
No
though.
suds. Nobody. No
You
dish.
gotta touch me and say nobody.
My goodness.
Say nobody though.
Nobody.
Okay, there we go. All right, nobody's
All right.
cooking.
I'm out of
tonight.
steam, but yeah, there you have it.
I think those are our messages for this evening. Let's see if our guests. Well, we're the guests. Let's see if our hosts are headed back in this virtual room. Can't see that on there.
Hey.
And here they are right
There it
here.
is.
There it is.
We're not too sure what happened, but hey, we're back.
Right, yeah, we definitely don't know what happened. It's fine because we were just talking to you before the show started, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. But
It's okay. We held it down.
We tried to bridge you over, so
okay.
Thank you so much.
And it's funny, we were talking as well, so I didn't know if they saw. We were just talking.
They saw somebody.
Right. We were just talking.
Yeah. So I was saying that we have a lot to unpack. It's gonna be a two-parter show. Like, I know it, I feel it. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
No.
I like the fact that you just have taken control. She took my intro from me and everything. Again, the aggressor.
I really am not the aggressor at all. Anybody who knows that I'm not. That
Okay.
person.
A lot of times we get a lot of people to ask how we actually do it, how we make it work, how are we able to work together and keep a relationship. And to the naked eye, I guess people think that it is perfect, which we all know that that's not. It's not what it is. What can
Uh-oh. Strangest.
that's odd.
What do you think?
Something going on with the bandwidth. But your question, I believe, was about to be, what can we? Because people think that it's all sweet and perfect, and we know that that's not accurate. And so I think you were about to ask, what can we say to help people have a more balanced, real perspective? I guess that's what you're about to say. I'm not sure, but
If that be the
yeah, I would just okay. Well,
strangest thing. Let us see.
is that or?
It looks like we're still here. I'm not even sure what's going on. But you want to say that question one more time? Let us see. It's right here.
We're about to put that back in?
Yes.
Okay, because it's not plugged in. We need the adapters and all that.
Okay.
It's behind here. Okay, that's it.
So
We have action. I have no clue what is happening.
wow. I don't know. But you know what? I could well, we can try it this way. I was gonna see a different device. I don't know if that makes any difference at all. But
I
was
think
fine
we should
before
be
we
good
started.
now.
We're hoping.
Check your thing?
Yeah, we're hoping we should be good now. So
Okay. Okay.
You go.
So what I was asking, I said, I think it's a misconception. People see, things on social media, or they see us moving, and it's like, hey, how do you do it? And almost act as if we have, no issues whatsoever. I mean, have you guys experienced that? And what do you tell other couples that are trying to enter the same space, but don't know how to make that happen?
Good question.
Yeah, that is. I'll kind of answer it backwards. So those that we tend to interact with most one way or another on social, or even as clients that we work with, typically they're already in the throes of it. And so what happens is there's a sorting out process. But I think the answer would be true for those who are not yet in that space of working together, building a business together, and so forth. And that is simply to make clear that, number one, you're dealing with, and this would be true just for marriage, period, but you're dealing with two imperfect people, right? So we need to be very, very clear on that I have my shortcomings. She has her shortcomings. And we're trying to merge our ideas and our ideals. And so when you talk about ideals, right? Because ideals are perfect. It's like, this is precisely how we want things to pan out. But then when reality hits those ideals, then you have to be more realistic without losing your sense of hope. And I think you can see that you're going to have to really sort out your own expectations in a way that is calibrate it with realism, not just idealism.
Mm.
We lost her.
Yeah. So unfortunately we lost them in the middle of what was really wow, powerful.
Right. And I don't want to focus on this, but it kind of been having technical difficulties. It's really weird because it seems like some of our best shows we have some technical difficulties. It's like the devil is trying to work against us, but we will fight through. So we'll fight through. And I think what we maybe should do is restart the show. What do you think?
Okay.
All right, I think maybe we should restart the show because I do know I'm getting some messages saying that we are breaking up on both ends. So let's figure that out. So we're gonna hop off and hop right back on and see if we can make this happen. All right, thanks.
Here we are.
Hey there.
We're back.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, we've been. I don't know.
You know we're live, right?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
You
was
have
moving
like
my
you know
chair.
we're live.
Right.
Hey, you know we're live.
This is gonna be the best one. I'm telling you
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness. Yeah.
Look, I hope and pray. That's what we're looking for.
I don't know. So we could see you, but our viewers were telling us, hey, they're breaking up, and it's a powerful topic. So I'm not really sure, what it is or whatever the case may be. And then I'm kind of cheating, and I have you guys at the bottom, so I can kind of read the closed captioning so that I could hear everything that was going on. I mean, read everything that was going on at the same time.
Got it.
Right. So we're trying to figure out a way.
So let's go.
Okay.
So
that's the devil. That's the devil.
Yeah. I said that. So I don't know if you can remember exactly where you were at, what you were dropping. I just want to make sure that the people here, the people heard what you had to say, because it seems like we really needed to hear that.
Okay. Well, I'll just sort of truncate my answer a little bit. But really, it's about bringing idealism to the marriage, and we all come with ideals, right? But once reality comes in contact with our ideals, then we have to really recalibrate those and recognize we're dealing with realism. And so whatever lofty concepts I had about working together in business with my wife, I had to calibrate those things because I have to remember we're dealing with two imperfect people. And it's not just that we're imperfect, but we're dealing with two imperfect people who are striving to be better day by day. And it's like two kids trying to grow up. And there's always going to be, some stepping on of toes and some disagreements. We call it the natural rub of marriage. And when you have that natural rub or that natural friction, it's really designed to really mature you, to smooth you out. It actually makes you better in all capacities, even as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I think if we allow it, I think it also.
Yeah, if you resist the rub,
if you resist it, it's just
then it's like resisting growing up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think when we don't allow it, it's pride, so we just really
ultimately
try to our best to walk in humility, but it's
check
hard.
That pride every day.
Oh my goodness, it's hard, but we know that that's like the only way, of course in marriage and of course in business too, just because pride is so blinding, and we just think we're right. I'm like, no, I know my way is better. Like, it is what it is. There's no questions about it. Why are you second guessing? Like, just that coming to that table with that type of mindset is just not a win. You know, it never ends well. It never ends well.
You know, we say, I say it a lot. All the things that we go through are lessons, and you know, we go through them for us to learn. Period. You know, let's get the lessons. Let's be accountable. And it's crazy because I feel like you guys said it so much better than me. You know, you guys said it just so much better than me. But we do have to accept the lessons. Everything, you know, everything I feel like is a lesson, and the growth and the lessons come from the struggles, not from necessarily the good times. I mean, that's easy. If it's good, then you're like, hey, this works. I don't have to. I'm great. The real growth comes from when we're not seeing eye to eye. The real growth comes from you coming with some problems, and when you fall and you get scraped up, that's where the growth comes in, because that's where the lesson is at. You know what I mean? That's where the lesson is at. So we've been able to really like look at things and really accept those, you know, and really try to find the right lesson out of it, because I know that's happened for me. I thought God might have been telling me one thing, and later on down the line, I'm like, he couldn't have been telling me this. I'm way off. Like this.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
this is off.
It's interesting that you said that, because one of the posts that they post
Right.
said God will disrupt your plans to block you from settling from anything less than his best, you
Right.
know?
Okay.
And when I looked at that post, the first thing that I thought about was how we came about.
Okay. Right.
Because the difference is that they were married and then they went into business together.
Okay.
On our end,
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite, right?
Yeah, it's the opposite,
and it was
right.
always the pushback from him. No, I don't want to mix business and pleasure.
She was on my heels. She was on my heels. I was on my head. I'm like, no, this ain't really what I want to do.
But what I kept saying to him was, you know, what I knew is, one, that his reasoning behind it, because we had conversations, did not make sense to me, you know? And his reasoning behind it was like, okay, so you're going to fight what God said, but whatever. So I'm just going to keep praying on you. I'm going to keep praying about our situation, and we're going to see how it unfolds. And then one day he's just like, okay, well, you know what? That's it.
You made me sound so bad.
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry. I had to think about it. I was like, she's really making me sound bad right now.
I don't think that.
No. But yeah, I was.
You think that?
I didn't think we should mix the two. You know, that's just I didn't.
That.
Right. You know, from what my experiences, it just seemed like, and the right thing to do was not mix the two. And I really fought for a long time. So,
and then once we mixed it, we found out how much we had in common. Like outside of the things that we knew we had in common, we found out how closely we were already connected, and we didn't know it.
Right. Right. Like her dad actually christened me, you know, was the best kid he ever christened, but
what? Really?
So literally, okay, so our birthdays are a day apart, right? And a year to the day that I was christened, my dad christened him.
Wow.
What did you say?
Wow.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I talk a lot of trash. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
No, you good, man.
I talk a lot of trash, but
you know, it's things like that. It was the connection with my dad and his grandmom. You know, it was right Scorpios. It was all of those connections that we had. Of course, we both have common interests. And so it's like every day, even though we've been around each other for years, now it's like every day we're finding out something different that connects us.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, I think we're always finding new things out about each other.
And that's going to be ongoing because if we're both growing, then our taste, our preferences, and all the complexities that come with being a person is going to continue to transition as well. And so, I think we can say fundamentally that we are the same people fundamentally when we first met each other, even when we first got married. But I will also say that we have both grown a lot more. A lot. And so in some regards, I'm not the same person. And in some regards, she's not the same person. And that's actually a good thing.
Yes.
Because if I was the same person I was 11 years ago, something ain't right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it's a change for the better.
Yeah.
And I think that we would definitely, through accountability, make sure that that's the case. Because if there's a part of us that needs to be, tweaked and adjusted in our attitude, then I need to trust where she's coming from when she raises it and brings it to my attention. And I didn't used to always feel that way. Right. And so, again, going back to the pride thing, and then being single a lot longer than I've been married. So that in and of itself was an adjustment. I wasn't used to having somebody, quote unquote, tell me about myself. But what did I need? I needed somebody to tell me about myself.
You needed the truth.
Yeah. And and the reality is I don't question her motive. That's the difference. There's two kinds of cuts. There's a cut that cuts to kill, and then there's a cut that cuts to heal.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And what I will say is, that's what I know about this young lady here. I know that she's not saying anything to hurt. If she's saying something, she's saying something from a point of I care. I care now. I may not necessarily like the presentation all the time, but
sure.
You know what I'm saying? I know that where it's coming from. And what I can say is I've seen growth on the way that she approaches things.
Absolutely. You just hit the nail on the head.
Right. If you coming at me with some where it seemed like it's attacking,
right,
I'm automatically going to defend myself.
Absolutely.
So you could be pinpoint on what you're saying, but I'm not even hearing how pinpoint you are because I feel like you're attacking me and I'm gonna defend myself. If now she's real, hey, I just want to talk to you for a second. What happened? Or we have a conversation and the presentation is better, and so I'm able, we're able to talk and like I said, unpack some things and have the hard conversation. That's key. That's key. That's key.
So you guys, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like I should say this. So if it's a cut that's cutting to heal, then if anybody's ever had surgery, there's like a preparation that happens before you open the wound, right? And when you're done addressing it or it's done being addressed, there's a delicate closure. Sometimes it's stitches or whatever. And so when we do that to each other, we got to make sure if you're going to open a wound, close it delicate. Make sure you're doing it in a way that's designed to help the person, not be right. I'm right. And you should just deal with it.
Right. Yeah. Let me ask. And I really have a really great question.
Sure.
As I'm listening to you guys, you're giving so much food and so much knowledge. How did that come about? Because it's not like you said. I kind of know the answer, and I don't want to answer it. But how did all of this come about? Where you have the knowledge? I mean, in the way you are able to spit that knowledge back out for somebody to take that in. Because you guys really just in the short period of time of us talking, we had technical difficulties for 15 minutes. You guys are really giving a lot of food, a lot of knowledge. How are you guys able to get that and then spit it back out so it can be digested from the people that you guys talk to?
Well, I would say, I mean, number one, history. I'm not sure what part that we got cut off on, but I was saying earlier, we knew each other for about 10 years before we actually got serious and got married. So we came into the relationship pretty aware of each other and our own
having made a lot of mistakes
already. And then really making a choice to know like what we were building, like being very clear on defining success for ourselves versus
having it defined for us.
Yes, everyone else to define it for us. Or we said we need to be like this or be like that. But like, no, what do we want? What does success look like for us in our relationship? Like for us, peace is
paramount.
Paramount. Yes. Peace.
To use two words that start with P.
Right.
Drop them bars, right?
Right.
But we want, so it's like, okay, so what do we need for us to have that like success, having peace, being able to have parameters in our relationship where we're going to say, okay, what do we do when we disagree, right? So what we're not going to do, maybe we didn't know what we were going to do totally, but we knew what we weren't going to do. We're not going to give each other the silent treatment, right? We need to be adults and we need to like talk through it. And if something's bothering me, I need to say something's bothering me, right? And if something's bothering him, he needs to say it and not hold it in and not implode, because oftentimes that will happen. And
that tends to be the male default.
And I'm like, bruh, I need you to tell me what's wrong so I can at least know. And if I need to give you space, I'm gonna give you space, but don't just like not say anything for months and then all of a sudden something happens and you just go off, right? That has happened many times. And so it's just not healthy. It's kind of toxic. So just like working through that, and then me making sure that I'm speaking to him in a way that he receives it as honorable. Because when we got married, like I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And so I started my first business at 16, a tutoring company, my second business on my dorm room floor at 19, a creative arts staffing firm that paid my way through school. And then in my 20s, built out another, a consultancy. So that's all I know. Like I've never had a traditional corporate, 9 to 5. So I know how to hire people. I know how to get things done. I know how to create opportunities. I know, like, I'm very direct. However, in our relationship, I had to learn quickly that how I spoke to him, even though I may be saying something that was true, as you mentioned earlier, I had to make sure that he was going to be able to receive it. And so, he had to let me know in more or less words that I'm not on your payroll. So
I had to tell her, because she talked to me one day like I worked for her.
And I was
like, hold up. I'm not on your payroll.
You don't talk to me like that.
And I'm
like, what I say? Like, I'm just telling you what needs to happen, right? I don't understand. Like, well, then I had to be like, okay, well, tell me how to say it. Like, tell me, like, I need you to help me, like, teach me how to treat you, because I don't know what I said that was wrong. And he was like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. And so I'm like, well, tell me how to say it. Like, but it was kind of like one of those blow up moments. And so for him, it was like, this has been going on. But I'm like, I didn't know. This whole time I'm thinking we cool, but that wasn't the case. And so just like working through that and me having to understand just the difference, even though now that was before we were working together, but now even more so working together, just being more conscientious about how I say certain things, about the timing of it, about his mood, that type of thing.
Yeah, it comes down to respect, which is, I mean, everybody wants respect overall, but I think men place a different premium on respect. And then I had to make sure that I was really honoring and cherishing and loving her the way that I'm supposed to. And I also realized, because there's a scripture that says, husbands, dwell with your wives according to understanding. Some translations will say knowledge. And so I had to realize that I had to take into account what I knew about her upbringing to say, okay, maybe she needs to understand what it is that I need so that I don't keep expecting something that she never knew, because that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? So I just said, okay, how do I articulate respect? Then I had to like live with myself for a minute. How do I define respect? So I had to like, anyway.
I think ultimately to answer that question and bring it full circle is just like going through it, like living it
Yeah,
out.
man.
And I mean, then there's more of a conviction,
Right.
you can't just talk about something and not have it stick. It's just like going through it and that process of being cut.
Because I came from a house where we raised our voices. She came from a house where they did not raise their
I'm
voices.
like, why are you screaming at me?
Okay.
Like, we don't, why
Right.
are you, like, when somebody screams at me, that's like, whoa, like, what's going on?
And the
Is
way
that
I,
attack?
and the
Is
house
that
I grew
attack?
up in, that's just how we talk.
That's how
You know what I'm saying?
that's how they greet each other in the morning. They're like, good morning, good morning. I'm like, whoa, like, why are you screaming?
Right. So
Anyway.
I have a question. How do you all, like, okay, you're having a conversation, something bothers the other person. Has there ever been a time where you
We were doing so good. We're
We
doing
doing
so
so good.
good.
I think we spoke too long.
Okay, no,
I'm
there
sorry.
we go.
There we go.
There we go.
So
All
my
right.
Right. So my question was, have you guys ever had a situation where you're trying to have a conversation and express how you feel and the other one cuts it off, And if so, how do you deal with that?
Do I cut stuff off?
I would be able to scissor hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I do that from time to time, but
She can pull the shears out from time to time.
Right. Okay. Right.
well, I think one of the main things is we just ask, like, we have, once again, like, what does success look like for us if we're going through some type of, heated conversation? The main thing is he knows I want to be heard. I want to be heard. And even if you don't agree with me, I want to be heard. And so and he wants to be heard as well too. But if he's like cutting me off and we know we're working to get to a common goal, we can't get there if either one of us is cutting the other person off, right? So the main thing is like, okay, if he's cutting me off and then I say, okay, I can't, you're cutting me off. And then usually what he'll say is, you're right, okay, go ahead. Like, he'll just stop. Okay, right, fine. Like, I'm not sure in that moment though if he's really listening, but he does stop. But that's taken some time to like get to that point of just having that part of the conversation, because there have been times when if you cut me off and I may just shut down emotionally.
Right. We say that.
And I think that's actually what I was talking about.
Yeah, we say that a lot. So in the beginning, we were both, had to get our opinion across, and we're trying to talk at the same time. So now, even when we do it, we kind of, one will remind the other one, hey, we both can't talk at the same time. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we really can't. We can't talk at the same time. And I've noticed that it has worked. What I do know is she has now allowed me, a lot of times she's like, well, okay, I just said something, you're not saying anything. And I'm trying to process it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really trying to, a lot of times I need to process and get it together so I can deal with it or attack it however I feel like it needs to be dealt with. But sometimes I need a few moments or need some time to really put it all together.
So I think that's what I was talking about as far as cutting off. I feel like sometimes in our conversations that you emotionally detach, and you'll say you're processing it, right? Mm-hmm. Which it's okay to process it, but once you process it, you have to bring it back. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I know recently in a conversation, I said, we talk about having solutions, but you have to have the solution. You can't keep going and not have the solution, because you're gonna constantly hear the same conversation with me, because it's not, for me, the way that I'm built is that if something bothers me, it's going to continue to bother me until you deal with it. So you're going to continue to hear it. So you don't want to hear it.
Real.
You don't want to hear it. Let's deal with it. And so I guess that's what I was asking because we get along really well, and we have a bunch of fun together. But when we have those hard conversations, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel, as opposed to you thinking I'm attacking you. And I know this, and I'm sure that Jay would say the same. I really watch my tone with him. See, I come from a household, as I said, my dad was a pastor, where the man is the head of the house. All respect goes to him. I will never emasculate him. Not like I respect him, like he is the head of our relationship. Everything he's the head of. And so even in our conversation, as a strong business person, I'm very strong in business, but in our relationship, I'm very submissive.
What are you looking at? I mean,
it is definitely a dance, and I will say this: it is appropriate for there to be mutual submission. And let me explain what I mean by mutual submission.
Wait. You want him to submit? Let's listen.
No. Hold on. Because I got to put some handles on that, okay?
Right, we can't win. You can't win every fight. You can't win every fight.
We can't just carry something when you put handles on it. Right. So, but a lot of times mutual submission looks like, especially for us as men, gentleness. And gentleness can be a very broad, abstract term, or it can be a very precise and specific way of applying it. But I have to continue to practice gentleness with her, even after all this time. And so it looks different in different contexts. So it's gentleness where I'm laying down sometimes even my right, because it is possible to be right and wrong at the same time.
Right.
And so you could be right in the moment but wrong for the long term.
Right.
And so I sometimes I have to remember that I'm cultivating my marriage. Contrary to what people don't realize, men are called to be gardeners. Right. In the relationship, you know what I'm saying? So I have to cultivate, like we say, that men are, how they say it, thermometers and women are thermostats. I think it's different. I would push back on that a little bit. I think we actually contribute more significantly than we realize to setting the temperature. Right. And so I have to remember I'm cultivating a garden, and the seeds of patience and gentleness, the seeds of listening even when I realize something's not going to work out the way she thinks it's going to work out.
Right.
And I learned even while we were dating, I can't correct everything. And there have been some decisions that she made that no matter what I said, I realized she was so fixated on it. Yeah. And I had to realize, you know what? I'm gonna let you do that. Right. And by meaning I'm just gonna quit pushing back on it. But I already know what's gonna happen. And because I know it's not going to destroy you, but it's not going to be fun and it will teach you, I don't say anything. And I've gone through situations, even in our dating period, where I didn't say anything, even though I knew about to hit a wall.
Right.
Nor did I come back and hit her with the "I told you so" stick.
And you know what? That's key. That's key because neither one of us are really trying to be right. We're just trying to give you something. So, I'm trying to warn you, I don't think that this is the right way to go about this. But go ahead, go ahead and handle it. And what I've noticed is just with random things that happens with us. On the reversal, though, it happens with me, with people that I dealt with or thought was friends and did business with and that sort of thing, right? So mine is me saying, hey, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. You're being too emotional. It's too much. You got to take emotion out of it, or whatever the case may be. And then she'll come back, and I won't say I told you, so we'll talk about it. But I also, when she tells me certain things about certain people, I'm like, damn, you was right. You know, and I mean, she's not looking for that. And what I love is she says to me, listen, I didn't want to be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be right. But it was something that I saw. But I just kind of got to give her the credit, because you need the credit. I think I should give you credit. You know what I'm saying? Because you saw it, and I didn't see it.
I appreciate it, but it goes back to the reason why. You know, it's the surgery again. I'm telling you, for healing and not for hurt. Right. But I wanted to say something, because I know I explained that I was going to have to hop up, and I'm still waiting for that moment. That's why you see me looking down. But what I wanted to say before I left, and we were in a discussion, I feel as though, and I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of times you will waive your right just so that I can calm down. And I appreciate that. I will go from 0 to 100.
So I need y'all to talk.
Go ahead. Yeah, I will go from 0 to 100.
I need y'all to talk. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I will go from 0 to 100. And you guys know what's happening. You guys know, but they don't know. But I will go from 0 to 100, and it'll be something as gentle as, but baby, wait. You know, and it just calms the entire mood. Like, everything about it just changes how I feel. It changes my angst. It changes everything. You know, we've been dealing with a lot today, you know, just today. If I told you about the last 6 months, you'd be like, oh, but today we just had a lot of family things, because, you know, our parents are older, and, you know, it's a lot of moving parts in our life. And I just had, I had to be able to admit and say, you know what, I need you. I need you, you know, like today, I need you. I know that I'm always the strong one, or I know that I handle this or I handle that. But today, I need you. And I feel like it is very important that you are able to say that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we won't tell our partner when we need them, you know?
Right.
And Jay always tells me, you don't know what you don't know.
No, that's so good. And I think it's easy to do that especially when we're talking about business too, because we have these different hats on. Right. You know, if I'm the CEO, the CO, the CFO, whatever I am, I'm in leadership, and, you know, we're thought, okay, to be a strong leader, I need to be a strong person all the time. And that's not always the case, right? So especially when we're talking about being in a relationship as well, just being able to take off all the hats, you know.
So let's talk about efficiency.
Okay.
And I can't go back to the post, but you posted about efficiency. Your lack of efficiency can be draining. So let's unpack that.
Yeah. So
that's why I was staring at you. I'm sorry. I'm like, you smell so good. Listen, I secretly crush on him a lot.
Yes.
I got a new fragrance. A new and it's kind of funny. I know we weren't talking about that, but it's once you buy a fragrance, you want to buy another one. You just want to buy another one. Like, and unfortunately, I kind of, because I'm just so used to spraying. Yeah, I spray before I go to the gym, which is crazy. Like, I do. I'm just kind of used to it.
Bring it back, baby. Bring it back. You know, bring it back the conversation.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
But that's how I was saying. She was like,
Yeah, I
I'm sorry.
apologize.
Smelling good, smelling good.
Efficiency.
Efficiency. Okay, so yes, I've been talking about efficiency on the Marriedpreneurs Life podcast because it's such a big overlooked hole or crack in especially our business systems. And
I'm gonna step away.
Okay, no,
I'm
you
gonna
go.
step away.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. All the way up.
Such
All the way up.
Okay.
I'm done.
It's such it can be such a crack in our systems, as we are building out our businesses, as we're building our relationships. And the thing about being in business, working together, or both of you having your own business and being in that relationship, is that the less efficient you are in business, that absolutely will impact your relationship, because it's going to require more time. It's going to require more energy for you to do something that you should be able to do in a fraction amount of the time when you have the right systems in place. It's going to require more resources, more money. And at the end of the day, you're drained and you don't even have anything to give each other, right? It's like you've given the best of yourself to the business, to the broken systems and the lack of efficiency. And then you give the rest of yourself, the rest of like whatever's left over, to your relationship. And that for us, we're like, we just want to make sure that that's not how we're building our life. Like that, it can happen during seasons, but over and over again.
You know what? But that was the whole reason why I thought originally that it was a bad idea. I thought it was a bad idea because I know that for me it's difficult to separate the two. I'm just, I feel like I do, try to do a great job of being transparent, and I know that I don't do well separating the two. So that's why I was like, I don't think that this is the right idea for us to do this, because when you get on my nerves in business, then I'm not going to really want to be around you. I'm done the business.
Right.
And I don't feel like I was wrong.
That's
I thought
fair.
that was
Absolutely.
I thought that was natural. So that's why I fought it. And what I've tried to work on is transparency. And as we were talking, earlier, I wanted to hop in and ask you guys, what does the two words transparency and transparent? What does transparency really mean to you? Because that's a transparency and accountability. What does it really mean to you? Because they are two powerful words, and I think that that's part of issues in relationships whatsoever. Transparency and being accountable.
Yeah. You got something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I think one of the first words or phrases that come to my mind when I think of the word transparency first is really truthfulness, being true, being honest. Those, I don't know why I thought about food or juice, but it's like the 100% juice, it has like the no additives or, anything that's added to it to make it taste a certain way. It is what it is. Like it's 100% of what it is. And so there's no filter, I know we live in a filtered age. So everything is filtered and you don't really see the picture for what it is, because it just looks beautiful with whatever filter is on there. So just being true, for me, when I think of transparency, being true, being honest. And then with accountability, I think of accountability as I often think of like the results of it, but like what it is really being answering to someone else, right? Giving an account. I mean, that's account as being the root word, but giving an account for your own self, or your responses. Like there is no free range, right? So there's some freedom in that, but there is someone that you have to respond to, and that connected to being responsible. Thinking of accountability for me.
Yeah, I think about it in two ways. So like what Sway just said is, I think the function of transparency and the function of accountability, and I absolutely agree. I see it as the philosophy of transparency and the philosophy of accountability. And so the philosophy of transparency is not demanded disclosure, but volunteered disclosure. So going back to the juice box, they disclose that out of regulation, not out of volition.
Okay.
Because I think true transparency, and that's why I appreciate you using the word honesty, is it's volitional disclosure. Like, I'm telling you this because I need you to know this. Like, I want you to know this, not because you're demanding it and sort of pulling it out of me. So that would be my answer for disclosure. On accountability, I look at it as, what is the purpose of giving an account? There's a function to give an account, and that's important, but what's the purpose of it? Well, the purpose of it is so we can make sense. So if you go to a CPA and they reconcile your books, they give an account for every item. Why? Because they want to be nitpicky? No. So that they can arrive at a
They can reconcile.
They can reconcile it. So it's the bringing together what went out and what came in. We need to bring that together. So I look at it in that sense.
Right. That's heavy.
That was
Heavy for a Friday.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Because that's so crucial. I think most relationships, friendships, even in business, these things would not have probably some of the issues if people could be accountable and transparent, which is really hard. I have a thing where I talk to Cassandra and I say, I am able to look myself in the mirror in the morning and really feel like I'm a stand-up guy, that I feel like I'm upstanding, and the things that I may not be up, my faults, I know them already, and I'm accountable for my faults, and that's big. I'm not looking at myself while I'm brushing my teeth just to look at what I'm doing. I really want to be able to look at myself and say, you stand-up guy. I would want to be your friend because you're a cool guy and you really
I posted that.
stand up.
I posted that yesterday. Live in a way that you can look in the mirror at yourself. So listen, I first of all, let me apologize for having to jump up several times. Okay, but the reason why I had to do that is because before I say why, let me just say this. I want to thank you. Okay, and I'm gonna try not to cry.
No emotion, no play.
No, it's a lot of emotion. I want to thank you for being that stand-up guy who saw this woman with 3 kids that she was raising by herself, but you stepped up, And I want to thank you just for everything you've ever done for me, because it's been so much. And so today, earlier, Jay and I received a phone call from my daughter's boyfriend. And not only did he ask me, could he marry my daughter, but he called this man right here and asked as well. Now, he did it for 2 parts. One, because Jay has always embraced him like a father. But the reason why I have tears is because when I found out the basis as to why he called, it was because she had a list of people. And she told him that if you ever decide that you want to marry me, you have to ask all of these people. And the 3rd person on the list was him.
Wow.
And I tell you every day, I tell you every moment how much I love you. But you don't just love me, you love my kid. And you treat my kids like they're yours. So I apologize for the tears because I know you hate them, but they're tears of joy and they're tears.
I don't hate them.
No,
I just, I'm sorry, because you was rolling.
Like,
you were really rolling. I try to take the. She gets on me all the time because I try to take emotion out of.
And you just stole my moment.
No, go, keep going. I'm
telling you how
great
going. You are.
Keep going. Listen.
But I'm just telling you, like.
I'm sorry. I'm probably.
But it's stuff like that. Like a few seconds ago when you grabbed me and you just always make sure that I'm smiling. You always make sure that I'm good. And like people don't understand why I go so hard when it comes to you. But I tell you, it's not many things I fight about. But my kids, my parents, and you, I go back to the streets for. But I just wanted to tell you, thank you. Congratulations, Jeremiah and Crystal. I guess you'll be getting all the Nikes that you want now. But yeah, just congratulations. And I apologize for interrupting the show.
No,
but
not at all.
It was a moment and it just,
Well, yeah, it's about, this is a transparent moment. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Okay. And I think that that's why this podcast works, because this wasn't my idea either. This was hers. This was her brainchild. I make sure that I'm there for her, but I am not. And sometimes now I'm talking this out. Sometimes I think that when I say I take emotions out of things, it should not always be the case. A lot of times I try to take the emotions out because I feel like if you make a decision on emotion, 9 times out of 10, it's the wrong decision. You got to really take some time and really think about it. When the emotions are going, you do and say some things that you may kind of regret later. And sometimes you can't take those words back once you say them, and so I really do my best to take the emotions out of it. And we have, I talk to her about that a lot. But even for this moment, that I don't think that that's the right statement, for moments like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not the right statement for moments like this. So, I appreciate it. And I would only do what you would do for mine. So, that's it. I mean, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I just feel like I'm being the stand-up guy that I'm supposed to be. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes we want to give credit for people for being good, but you're supposed to be a good person. You know what I'm saying? And we give credit for that. You're supposed to be a good person. It is not necessarily about us. I think that we should, the blessings come from, you doing for other people and you serving other people. And I do come from a 2-parent household. My father is my guy. You know what I'm saying? That is my guy. I love my mother to death. Will do anything for my mother. You know what I'm saying? And my grandparents played a part as well. And so the family structure, I always say shout out to Deborah and James. That's my father and my mother. And, it's still more, it's more layers to that. It's more layers to that. It's grandmother, grandfather. Yeah. It's some, basketball coaches. It's everything. You know what I mean? It's really everything. So I feel like we do have to give back, give back as well. So
I feel like we have had an amazing show.
And that's why she said 2 parts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
why she said 2 parts. We definitely. I was sitting here in my mind. Actually, I looked at my phone a few times trying to figure out when the second part will be. However, it's the part of the show I love. We get to play games.
All right, so we're behind. So come on.
No, we're behind. We had 15 minutes worth of technical.
All right, come on, let's do it. You ready? Let's do it.
So listen, I'm gonna ask 2 questions tonight, okay? Because we're gonna do a part 2. And then he'll ask his little question.
Y'all too much, boy.
The first question I'm gonna ask you, I want you to answer until you can't answer any longer. Look at your husband and look at your wife. And the second question, just a straight answer, okay? So the first question is,
That's your husband.
I knew I love you.
I was gonna say we gotta do it this time.
Yeah,
I'm playing.
yeah, we gotta do it this time.
Like,
I knew we gotta do it this time. And since I'm gonna act like I'm a teacher. Since you said something, you gotta answer first. I knew I love you when. So if it was Jay and Jay would say that I need you to look at me first.
No, I'm sorry. Listen, you got to remember, we have done this so many times. You know, I don't want to repeat answers. You know what I mean?
Boy, answer the question.
So, all right, give me again. Give me.
I knew I love you when.
I know I love you when I let down my guard, because like we just talked about, when you walk, I didn't want to do relationship and business because I didn't think they should mix, because I'm not good with, you know, if I'm pissed off with you in business, I don't really want to be laying around with you. Like, get away from me. You have made me better in that. I know I loved you when I allowed you to be in my kids' life, because I protect that, period. It's the boy is different, but especially that girl. I protect that with everything. And I've allowed you are a part of both of their lives. I knew I loved you when we started doing this podcast. I knew I loved you when we started being public. I'm not a public affection guy. That's not me. I want to have a private life, and this is not private anymore. No sector of my life is private. So I knew I loved you, and I know it's not necessarily emotional, but it's the truth. And you know things about me, and I'm really kind of, you know, I'm the same way all the time. You know that, because this is not what we would have done, and I know that this is not what you would have done either. And you're here. This is tough for you as well, and you're here. So I knew that. I knew that when I took your kids on as mine, because, you know, I like them sometimes better than you. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm playing. But you know, I try to make a joke with everything, but it's a lot of reasons, and try not to repeat them. But these are the reasons why, because, you know, I'm not necessarily the most emotional guy in the world.
So I knew I loved you when I woke up.
Get to crying. Go ahead.
I knew I loved you when I woke up this morning. I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you the first time you were sick, and I came over to your house with some tea and cough drops, because I just didn't understand why this man didn't have tea in his home. I knew I loved you. I didn't.
Water and alcohol. Go ahead.
I knew I loved you. Right, really. I knew I loved you the first time that you called me and said, "Hey, can you go pick up my son?" I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you when it was so hard for me to even like you. I knew I loved you when things were so difficult for me, and you were right there. I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you when I watched how you care for your mom. I knew I loved you when I watched how you protect, you know, your daughter. And I even really knew how much I loved you when you got upset when my dad was ill. And that just meant a lot, you know, for me. So you guys knew you love each other when?
Does it matter who goes first?
Ladies
Nope,
first.
ladies first.
No, ladies first.
Okay.
And I just keep going until he stops me.
Yep.
Well, I mean, until you feel like you want to get to a drop the mic moment. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get to that drop the mic moment, when you say that last thing, let OL go.
Got it. Well, I knew I loved you when we went on a date before we got married, right after we met, actually. And you took me to a park, and I was pouring out my heart to you and telling you things I had never shared with anybody. And you laid on my lap, and I was asking you a question, and I looked down and you were asleep.
You're gonna put that out there.
And I still spoke with you afterwards.
I dozed off.
You dozed off. You don't get to talk right now, right?
It was time. It was time.
I knew I loved you when we kept talking after that. I knew I loved you when you asked for my number 3 times within that year. It took the 3rd time when you got it. I knew then that you were someone very special. You were going to change my life. And I knew I loved you then. I knew I loved you when we were pretty much teenagers. Maybe I was a teenager. You weren't a teenager. And you were taking me all around Dallas and showing me, even though I think you lived in some, small efficiency, you were taking me to these gated neighborhoods and with houses, and we break the law together, trespassing, going into houses, new developments.
Make that clear.
New developments.
Please make that clear.
We were going into the model homes, and you would show me around and the vision that you have for our lives. I knew I loved you when I went with you into these houses late at night, driving through the neighborhoods. I knew I loved you because I trusted you, and I knew you weren't going to allow anything crazy to happen to me.
I thought that was a drop the mic right there. That's what I thought. I ain't even gonna lie. I thought you was going to drop the mic, but you let keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
I knew I loved you when my car got locked into the garage at the convention center, and you had to drive me 45 minutes one way, and you lived an hour away in the opposite direction. And we went out and we sat at, I think, IHOP till it was blue outside. I knew I loved you when we went on a date and I got food poisoning and I got sick. And you cleaned me up. We'll just leave it there. I knew.
That's fine.
I said, this is a real one.
You on your own. I'm telling you, buddy, you on your own.
I knew I loved you when I had already determined that printer that I bought you, I was going to bring it into the movie theater with balloons, and y'all was sitting in the middle row, and I was like, I don't care. She's getting this printer. I
can't believe it.
I knew I loved you when my car, my Civic, had no AC, and we was riding through Texas, 110 degrees, and you was sweating that kid out, sweating that perm out. I knew, and you did not complain one time. I knew I loved you when I got pulled over, locked up, and you called around to round up money to get me out. Called all my friends. I knew, and my mother. I knew I loved you when my grandmother passed. And you responded, you dropped everything. And you didn't try and give me a Hallmark poem, but you just hugged me, and that meant a lot.
Wow.
Drop the mic.
Woo!
Oh, well, drop the mic.
Woo!
Like Coming to America. Sexual chocolate.
The second one is woo. The second one is our love. Our love is.
I thought there was one answer.
It is.
Oh,
Okay.
I ain't did this in a minute. We haven't had a couple with us in a minute.
Who's asking the questions?
I'm sorry. I apologize. Mine is not. Mine isn't this intricate. I promise.
Mind you, there's no one over here. So
I do the same thing, sis. We were just saying.
there's no one over here, so I just thought I'd talk to the wall, you know. So the second one is our love is, and it's simple. Our love is what allows me to breathe every day. Our love makes me be able to move forward, and it makes me a better person.
Our love can withstand all of the BS that comes with, us being here right now. It's a lot of people that have issues. You have gotten a lot of buffoonery and backlash and all of that, and you've been able to really really give your Desmond Howard Heisman Trophy pose and get it. She's been able to do the Heisman Trophy pose and block all of that. Which is real. I mean, you have dealt with doing this a bunch of buffoonery from a bunch of different people, and you just continue to just go. And that doesn't go unseen, or I really do appreciate that.
So before they answer, let's be clear. I would do it over and over and over and over again as long as you were right here.
All right, say less. You on one today. A lot of times I'm like, no, I got you. It's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's done. But she on one today. She on one today.
What you doing,
I'm sorry. It's you.
She on one today. I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead. You gotta repeat the question. Go ahead.
I forgot it. Our love is.
Our love is solid. It is worth fighting for. It is predictable. Thank the Lord for that. Our love is durable and is flexible.
I'm taking the good ones.
I'm taking the good ones.
I'm taking the good ones. Go ahead.
Of course, it is forgiving and
that's a good one.
bounce backable.
Yeah.
And not like bounce back.
Bounce back.
Our love is clear.
Okay.
Our love is with a clear conscience. Our love is, man, you said the good ones. Our love is anchored in God, who is stronger than both of us.
Woo! Now that
Okay,
is the
I
drop.
was like, okay, sexual chocolate.
Like
okay.
that Mike.
Jackson Heights on Mr. Randy Watson.
Yeah. Are you asking or are you closing?
I'm not going to ask.
I know, because that last.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't want to mess the moment up. I do really want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you for sharing our moment.
Sharing everything, being transparent about your relationship and the things, the good, bad, and the things that you guys go through to be in this position right now. Thank you for going through the technical difficulties that we had to fight through in order to make this happen. We greatly appreciate it. And I am looking forward, or we're looking forward to part 2.
April 9th.
Okay. Okay, you got it?
Okay.
Okay. All right. She got it already.
For having us.
Listen, I'm so bad with dates and time. It's something that I've been praying on recently. I really think I waste time. I try to fit as many things into a day as I possibly can, and that's not always the right thing. And I can't get back.
You have a good heart.
The 2 or 3 seconds that when I walk past ESPN and I stop to hear the story, I can't get that time back, which is.
But you have good intentions.
I do. But thank you so much. And what I need you to do right now before you go is, how can they follow everything that you have going on? This is the shameless plug part of the show. Anything that you have going on, please. This is talk about yourself.
Sure. Well.
Yeah, I'll start off. So thank you again for this opportunity and for having us on here. We had a blast. This was a lot of fun. What a great way to segue into the weekend. But we can be found at all things Marriedpreneur Life, marriedpreneurlife.com. Marriedpreneurlife.com. I have to say it that way just to make sure it's clear. And there you can find all things Marriedpreneur, OL and Sway Buckley, and that is including the podcast, Marriedpreneur Life, the podcast, which is on all your listening platforms.
And then April 5th through the 9th, we're doing a free challenge helping marriedpreneurs, those who are wanting to launch their business and replace their 9-to-5 income. So you'll be able to find more there at marriedpreneurlife.com. Or loveandlaunchsecrets.com as well.
Right. Thank you in advance for that, because school doesn't teach you how to do that. I think school is.
You gotta say that.
They teach you to be an employee.
That's right.
They teach you how to be an employee. So thank you so much for that. And I will not hold you guys. We will not hold you guys anymore. What we will do is, before when we shut the podcast down, I want you guys to stay on just so we can just have a quick convo. We greatly appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. OL and Sway Buckley, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we gotta get some sound effects. That's our little clap. We need some horns and.
Okay.
Yeah, we need something.
Good night,
thank you
everybody.
so much. Love and Business on Lock podcast for Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great, safe, all negative energy out your circle. Please protect your circle, and you pick up the traits of the 5 closest people to you. You pick them up. I've been tongue tied all day, so I'm sorry about that. But you do have to watch the people that you keep around you. And with that being said, good night.
Good night.